Hello everyone, this topic is about the cryptography and digital signatures. So, first of all, I would like to discuss on the digital signatures. So, we all are familiar with the concept of the signatures, right? So, we generally we do signatures on some bank check, on some hard copy, etc. Right? So, a person sign a document to show that it is originated from him or approved by him. That means the signatures is for the authentication of a person that the documents is from the right person. So the signature is the proof of the recipient, proof to the recipient that the documents come from the right entity and nobody else. So signature is a sign of authentication. So verified signatures on the documents tell us the authenticity of the right entity. So a message, so the similar process can be done on digital documents, right? So now present era is the era of digital communication. So there is similar type of procedures that we can sign a documents electronically. So this type of signature is called digital signatures. So suppose we have two parties, Alice and Bob, and when Alice send a message to Bob, Bob needs to check the authenticity of the sender. He needs to be sure that the message come from the Alice and not you. That means suppose she is Alice and she wants to communicate with Bob's, and the Bob should be sure that the message is coming from the Alice, not from some other person, right? So this is the authentication process, right? So now the Bob can ask Alice to sign the message electronically. So the recipient can ask the sender to sign the documents which she has sent, sign it electronically. So an electronic signatures can prove the authenticity of Alice as the sender of the message. So this type of signatures is called a digital signatures. So now we have the conventional signatures on a hard copy and we have the digital signatures. So if we compare these two signatures, if we compare the digital signatures with the conventional signatures on these four bases, on the basis of inclusion, on the verification method, on the relationship, and the duplicacy. First we talk about the inclusion. That means on conventional signatures, this included in the documents as the part of the documents. Suppose we have a hard copy or we have a check, then we sign a check or a hard copy. So this sign signature is included in the documents. We cannot separate it from the message or from the documents. But in digital signatures, we send the signature as the separate documents. So we send the message and the signature to the recipient, and the signature are sent it separately from the documents. And if we talk about the verification method, recipient compare in conventional signature, the recipient compares the signatures on the documents with the signatures on the file. Suppose we give a check to a bank employee, then bank employee first will check or verify the signatures from the signatures which are stored in the bank computers, right? So that means the recipient compare the signatures of the documents with the signatures on the file. But in digital signature, the recipient receive the message and the signatures. He received two pairs, message and the signatures. The recipient need to apply a verification techniques to combination to the combination of the message and the signatures to verify the authenticity. In digital signatures, the recipient will get the message and the signatures, and then he will apply a verification technique on the message, and then he will verify the signature from this message, and he will verify the authenticity of the message. And if we compare with the relationship, normally a conventional signature is one to many relationship between signatures of documents, and most of the times we do the same signatures on different documents. That means there is a one to many relationship between the signatures and the documents. But in digital signature there is one to one relationship between the signatures and the message. That means if we change the message, then our signatures will be changed accordingly. So there is a one-to-one relationship between the signatures and the message. And in conventional signatures, a copy of the signed documents can be distinct from the original one on the file. But in digital signatures, no such distinction unless there is a factor of time on the documents. So now, so the digital signatures uses, in digital signature there are two steps. One is the signature algorithm and signature step, and second is the verification algorithm or verification step, right? So if Alice want to send a documents to a Bob, and Bob wants to verify the authenticity of the message, then Alice will sign electronically on the documents, and he will send the pair, the message and the signatures to the Bob, and Bob will use the verification methods, and he will apply these verification methods on the message, and if the result is true, then the message is accepted, otherwise it is rejected. So digital signature requires asymmetric key cryptography. That means in digital signatures scheme we need two keys. One is the private key and one is the public key. Suppose Alice is the sender of the message and Bob is the recipient. If Bob wants to authenticate the message, then he will ask Alice to sign the message. Then Alice will use asymmetric keys. So Alice will have its own private key and own public key. So in signing scheme, Alice will use her private key on the signing algorithms, and for the in the verification step, Bob will use the sender's public key. So which is the reverse process of the encryption. So in encryption, in a crypto system or in encryption, we use the private and the public key of the receivers, right? Or in digital signatures, we use the private and public key of the sender, not the receiver. So now come to the hash function and its roles in message integrity and digital signatures. For digital signatures, another technique is used which we call hashing. So hashing, basically this produces a message digest that is small and unique representation of the complete message. That means hashing is a function which convert any arbitrary length message to a fixed length message. So for a cryptographic hash function, it should satisfy some properties. So this, why mathematically we can say, if H is a hash function, we also call this hash function as a message digest, right? So if H is a hash function, then it convert any arbitrary length message. Suppose we have a message in binary digits. Suppose we have the 0 1, we have any arbitrary length, then it convert a fixed block of n length, right? So for a cryptographic hash function, it should satisfy three property. The first property is one-wayness, or it is called the pre-image resistance, and second is the weak collision resistant, or the second pre-image resistance, and this is also called the targeted collision resistance, and the third is the strong collision resistance. So in a pre-image resistance on a one-way NAS, this property means it should be computationally hard to reverse a hash functions. That means if a hash function h and the hash value z is given, then this is difficult to find the any input x such that hx equal to s. That means for a given hash value z and a hash function s, it is difficult to find x. That means it is difficult to going in the reverse directions. And the second property, which is the weak collision resistance, the second pre-image resistance, this says for a given any input m and any message or input m and it hits hash value hm, it is hard to find a different message m dash, that is m dash is not equal to m such that hm is equal to h of m dash. This is called the second pre-image resistance or targeted collision resistance or the weak collision resistance. And the strong collision resistance means this property means it should be hard to find two different input, that is m is not equal to m dash of any length such that their hash values are the same. So now come to the application of the hash function. First we talk the application of the hash function in message integrity. So message integrity means that is a message should not be modified during the transmission or it should not be altered during the transmission. So if we have the original data or original message, then we convert, we use some hashing algorithm, then we find the hash value of this, right? And we send this hash value to the through the networks, and the receiver will get, and we also send the original data. So this will get the original data and the hash values, and then the receiver will apply the hashing algorithm and will on the message, and he will get the hash value and he will compare the hash value with the received hash value. If the both hash values computed by the recipient or sent by the senders are the same, that means then the message is this, so the message integrity or message is not altered. If the hash values are the different, that means message is altered. So there is some modification in message. So that was the use of the hash function in message integrity. And in digital signature we also use the hash function, because normally the hash the message are very large, so we sign a digest of message which is much shorter than the message, right? Suppose this Alice is the signer on the message, then he will compute the hash function of the message and he will get the digest, and on this digest he will apply his private key, and then he will send the message and the signatures to the receiver, and the receiver will get the digest and he will use the Alice public key, and now he will also get the message. He will apply the hash function on message, he will get the digest. If both are same, then that means the message is not altered. So instead of applying the digital signature scheme on the message, so we can also apply the digital signature scheme on the hash value or the message digest. So now come to the some security services or the security goals. So basically we have the four security services security goals. One is the message confidentiality, that is message should be confidential, that means only intended person should be able to read the message. Message authentication, so just I have discussed about this. Message integrity, I have also discussed about this. And the non-repetition. Non-repetition means if Alice sign a message and then he denies it, so that means denial of the signatures, right? So the digital signature directly uh, fulfill these two requirements: message authentication and message integrity, right? And this does not provide the confidentiality and the non-reputational, but we can also provide these two services using some additional efforts, right? So now if we come to the non-repetition, so in non-repetition means if Alice sign a message and then denies it. Now the question is, can Bob later prove that Alice actually signed it? So that means if the Bob keeps the signatures on the file and later use Alice's public key to create the original message to prove the message in the file and the newly created message are the same. So this is not feasible because Alice may have changed her private or public key during these times, right? So she may also claim that the file containing the signature is not authenticated. That means, suppose Bob want to prove that the message is sent by the Alice, then he will use the public key of the Alice, and he will apply this public key on the message which Bob has stored in some files, and he will show the signatures to Alice. But during this time, Alice may have changed her public or private key. So now, how to prove this? For this, we can introduce a trusted third party. That means interested. So one of the solution is that trusted third party. That means people can create and establish trusted third party among themselves. That means suppose there are some government organization and some private organizations like VeriSigns and Google's others. They also gives the certificates. So in for the non-repetitions, so Alice create a signatures from her message and send the message, her ID and the Bob ID to the this trusted center, right? So Alice will sign a message, he will send the message signatures, her identity and the Bob identity to the trusted center, right? So now after checking the Alice public key is valid, verify through public keys that the message come from the Alice. He will verify Alice public key, right? And he will get the message. Now the party, this trusted third trusted parties, the center, then save a copy of the message with the sender identity, recipient identity, and a timestamp in its archives. The center uses its private key to create another signature ST from the message. The center then send the message, the new signatures message M and the new signature ST and the Alice identity and Bob identity to Bob. Now Bob verify the message using the public key of the trusted centers, right? So now if in the futures Alice denies that she sent the message, now the sender can show a copy of saved message. If Bob message is a duplicate of the message saved at the center, Alice will lose the dispute, right? So the non-repetition can be proved using a trusted third party. So now if we talk about the another security service, which is the confidentiality, how we apply the confidentiality on a message, because the authenticity does not give the confidentiality of the message. To make everything confidential, a level of encryption or decryption can be added to the scheme, right? So if the confidentiality is required, the message and the signature must be encrypted either using either a secret key or the public key crypto systems. Now, for message confidentiality and authentication, Alice will sign a message using her private key, and he will use some encryption algorithms. So here in asymmetric key cryptography, in encryption, he will use the Bob's public key, and he will send the encrypted message and sign to Bob, and now Bob will use the decryption methods and he will apply his private key, and he will get the message and the signatures. And now Bob will use the verification algorithms, or he will apply on the message using the Alice public key, and if the message are the same, then it will show the authentication, and this Bob's public key also give the encryption or the confidentiality of the message, right? So now if we talk about the overall digital signature process which provide the authentication and the confidentiality, right? So suppose here Alice and Bob are the two parties. So Alice will send a message, then he will calculate. Now it show the authentication, message integrity, and the confidentiality. So he will calculate a message digest using the hash algorithm. He will find the hash of the message, then he will get the digest. Now he will sign. Now he will sign the digest. So the message is here, and on signing he will use the Alice will use her private key. He will sign the digest instead of message. Normally messages are long, so he will sign the digest using her private key, and he will use the public key of, he will also add the public key of her, right? So now, so basically there are two type of encryption algorithm. One is symmetric, one is asymmetric, and in practical situation we use both public and private key encryption, because the private key or the symmetric key encryption is faster than the asymmetric key. So he will use the symmetric key encryption algorithm. He will find the keys for the symmetric key algorithms, right? Now the message is here, the digest is here. In digest there is the encryption algorithms using the private key of Alice and the public key. He will encrypt these three things using some symmetric key, and he will add symmetric key in this message. And now the Alice will use the public key of Bob, and he will encrypt the symmetric key using the public key of Bob. Now all these things will be sent to Bob. So Bob will receive all these things. Now Bob first will use her private key, and he will decrypt this. He will get the symmetric keys. Now using this symmetric key, he will decrypt this message. He will get the message and the digest and the public key of the Alice, and using the public key of Alice, the Bob will decrypt this digest. Now he will get the message, digest, and he has already this public key. Using this he will get the digest. Now using the verification methods on this message, he will compare this digest with the verification, the digest got from the verification method. If both are the same, then this will show the also the authentication. So these were the steps which show the confidentiality, authenticity and the integration of the message. So now we talk about the digital signatures scheme using the RSA algorithm. So we know the RSA algorithms. So in RSA algorithms, so we generate the key. The first step is the key generation. The public keys are basically N and E, where N is the product of two large prime and E is a number such that the product of E into D is congruent to 1 modulo phi n. Then D is the private key and N and E is the public key, right? In RSA, now in RSA digital signature scheme, the signing algorithm is like this. The Alice will use her private key, that is he will use the D, and message he will encrypt the message using her private key, right? Here he will calculate m to the power d in modulo n. Suppose this is equal to s. Now the Alice will send this signature and the message pair to Bob, and in verification algorithm Bob will get this signatures and he will also get this message. Now he will use the Alice public key E. So he will get s to the power e in modulo m. Suppose this is m dash and he also has this message m dash. Now he will compare this m dash with m. If m dash is equal to m, then he will accept the message and this will show the authentication of the message, right? Now instead of signing on message, we can also use the hash or message digest. That means the Alice will find the message digest using some hashing algorithm on m. He will get d, which is h of m. Now he will use his public key and he will calculate d to the power capital D to the power small d modulo n, which is the signature of the Alice. Now he will send the message and signatures to the verifier. Now the verifier will use the verifying algorithm. He will get this s and m. He will use the Alice public key e. He will get s to the power in modulo n. He will compute this. Suppose this is equal to d dash, and in message verifier will apply the same hashing algorithm h of m. He will get d. If d is equal to d dash, then message is accepted, right? So this was about the RSA signature algorithm. So in this lecture I told about you the digital signatures and the RSA scheme for digital signatures. Thank you.